Hi all, Paul Best here. Hope everyone's having a good week. Actually, we're now at the halfway point of strategic marketing. It's hard to believe. Summer is just flying by. And I wanted to spend this time just talking to you about the strategic marketing plan. So that's the single most important assignment that you have, and something that's a little bit more complex because you're working with on teams. So first, around weekly submissions. And first, the purpose behind this is to provide you with some. It's more of a time management tool for larger assignments. So you can work on particular pieces over a 5-week period versus waiting until the very end, let's say the last week, to actually put together this plan. So it's really important that you really kind of time manage and spread out your work a little bit more. So hopefully this is helping you do that. Also allows me to provide you with feedback, make certain that you're going down the right path. I'd rather have you hear from me now versus after you submit your final paper and you get my feedback along with the grade. So it's an opportunity for you to incorporate what I provide to you and to include that with the final submission. So once I provide you with feedback, you don't have to get back to me the following week with updates to whatever I provided you feedback with. So that really applies more to the final submission. And in terms of what I expect on a week in and week out basis, only turn in what's due that week. So hopefully that provides some clarification. Also, I've got my checklist here. Submissions. So the weekly assignments are graded, but it's graded as part of the final submission, just to be clear on that. So if I take a look at one of the rubrics, one of the criteria is completeness and timeliness. And so weekly submissions were complete and turned in by due date. So that is one of the areas or criteria of the rubric. But that's something that I provide you with the final grade. So I don't provide you with points on an interim basis. Also, on a go-forward basis, so you have been submitting these assignments as group assignments, and there's been some technological glitches. So what I did was I went through and I updated your assignments for this week, for week 4, which is this week 5 and 6, where it's now going to be an individual assignment, not a group assignment. So what I want each of you to do is to submit, whatever work you do as an individual assignment. So even though you might be working in teams of 2, submit it under each person's name. So the grade you get will be a collective group grade. It's just for administrative purposes. I think it's going to be a lot easier. So hopefully that's clear. And if you have any questions, give me a call. So again, and then also submit only one document. So one document per week per person. So I don't need 2 or 3 documents per person per week. So one document that addresses all of my asks for that week. Use the textbook as a reference as you're working on your marketing plan. So I talked about, so here we go. So marketing, so you take a look at chapter 17, it gets into marketing plans. Exhibit 17.8 and 17.9 are very helpful. For example, this past week we talked about positioning statements. Chapter 8 gives a lot of good guidance on how to put together a positioning statement, and many other areas. So this is a good go-to source if you have questions, and of course I'm available too for you. In terms of writing style on the final paper, it really should be a combination of written prose, so paragraph form, and bullet points. So that's pretty typical of a marketing plan. And you want to make it really concise and very focused. So it really should be, again, depending on the section, some sections might require more prose, such as the executive summary, whereas you get into other sections, such as the SWOT analysis, which requires more bullet points. So it should be a combination of the two, and depending on the section, some will apply more than others. All right, so for the final submission, one thing I want to make real clear, it needs to read, so you've been submitting these assignments on a weekly basis, and you have 2 people working on it, but essentially this document, it needs to read as a single cohesive document for your final submission. So it's almost like it needs to look like it's coming from one author versus multiple authors, something that's really important. So, and that's something that you need to focus on when you have multiple authors. So there needs to be a logical flow. So one of the criteria is logical flow around the paper itself. So within the rubric, I'm reading right here, it says, well-integrated plan that logically builds from one section to the next. All the key components are connected in a logical manner. So again, make certain it reads as one document. All right, so anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about as it relates to the strategic marketing plan. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Email works, But if it requires some dialogue, I prefer to talk by phone. Sometimes the best way to communicate is to communicate live, and I'm happy to do that. So if you have any questions, please, this is a very important assignment, and I want all of you to be very successful and position yourself for success. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Okay, have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.